Hello, everyone. Welcome to our studio today. So glad you could join us. We're going to start a very special project. For a long time, I've been wanting to paint a portrait. I do a lot of portraits, different things, but this is a portrait of Jesus. And I just wanted a portrait. I didn't want him actually doing a whole lot, but I came to the scripture, John 11:35, where he visited Lazarus' tomb and he raised Lazarus from the dead. But when he got there, Mary and Martha, his Lazarus' sisters, were really upset and crying over his death. And Lazarus had been buried 4 days, and Jesus saw that they were very sad. So the only scripture in the Bible, probably the shortest verse in the Bible, is Jesus wept. And that's the shortest verse in the Bible, John 11:35. And anyhow, I sat down one day and just started sketching. And what I came up with was this, just on a piece of regular 20-pound paper. And I sketched it in pencil. And I made him with short hair, if you notice. Well, I took it to my church and got a lot of comments on it. And they said he would look better with long hair. So I went back and sketched him with long hair. Anyhow, we're going to do some sketching today. But I also done a little color pencil setup of the actual finished painting. This is just done with colored pencil. And I'm going to lay this over to the side there, and maybe you look over at it every once in a while and do something. But this is my interpretation. I don't know, maybe nobody knows what Jesus looks like, but anyhow, we're going to do a little sketching first, and then we'll start painting. Come over to the board. All right. Now, everybody said I should have put long hair in there, so let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm just going to sketch it sort of rough because most of this will be covered up anyhow. And I'm sort of using the side of the pencil. And I could blend that all in with that, but it's not really necessary, like I say, because I'm going to paint over all of that. But I'll just take the side of the pencil and sort of blend it in a little bit. Now everybody that I spoke to said he would look better with long hair, and traditionally that's the way most old painters paint him. I have painted him both ways, but this is just a front view portrait. And I'll probably put the hair, run a little bit over the blouse there. Anyhow, that's just a quick sketch just to give you an idea of what it will look like. Now, let's start painting some, okay? First thing I'm going to do is get my little mixing palette up here. Now I want to get a brush, not too large a brush, but probably a flat brush, maybe about this size, and something a little smaller, about, I've got 2 or 3 here. Okay. Now I'm going to start mixing some paint. I'm going to make him sort of, hopefully, maybe what you call a suntan look, at least a little darker skin than normal. Because he was outside a whole lot. Now the first color I mixed up there will be a little darker color. And I'm taking a little raw cyan and a little, actually this is a flesh color, but what I'm going to do is lighten it a whole lot because I want him to have good highlights. I'm just mixing two colors here. We'll start there and go right on. Now a lot of people start with the dark colors. They put in the shadows first. I've done it both ways. Don't think it makes any difference one way or the other. You can do it any way you want to. This particular one, I'm going to start with a little light color. I want to put some light color, and I may even lighten it a little more than this. Just scrubbing a little color on there. And just putting a little light color, or this may not be the lightest color, but just a little of the light color in the highlighted spots. I'm almost using what I call a dry brush effect. I don't have any oil or anything on the canvas. And if we need some later on, we can come back and apply some. Now I've got a pretty good bit of color on there. And this canvas, if you can notice it, it's got quite a bit of grain in it. So as I'm putting this on, you can see a lot of little grain effects. No problem though. And the color won't be quite as smooth doing it with sort of a dry brush. I'm going to grab some smaller brushes. I'm going to come in with a little bit darker color. I'm not sure that that's dark enough. I'll probably paint right over those teardrops. Now after I get this color on, I'll show you. We're going to and there'll be a shadow on both sides of his nose. And grab a little more of that color. Now I may want to put a little oil on the canvas but I'm hoping that my oil paint will have enough oil in it that I can blend with it. This is just to give me some ideals. I'm going to grab a little more of that color. Now I will also add some reddish color in these cheeks. So I'm beginning to build it up a little bit. And I'm pulling that darker color out into the lighter color and blending just a little bit. Just pushing that color around a little bit. Just blending the color around. You can't hardly tell what it's going to look like yet. Okay, now I'm going to stop working on that, and I'm going to work a little bit. And a lot of times I'll do the eyes first. So I'm going to start working on the eyes. All right. Now this probably will be more of a stylized portrait, I guess you'd say. Okay, we'll rinse that out. This one, I guess, almost life size. I don't know, it could be a little larger, maybe, I'm not sure. But let me find a little small brush here. I've got a bunch of them. Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to rinse this one out. Lay him right there. Now, the eyes, I'm going to swap that out. Make a mess there. No, maybe I got way too much blue there. And I need to tone that down, so I'll get a little Payne's gray. White, blue, and a little bit of the flesh color. A little more Payne's gray. That's still not exactly what I want. A little more. A little more. When doing portraits, the eyes are never white, and the teeth are never white. They're pure white, but they're not. I'm going to have to get a little bit more of my Payne's gray here. A little bit more. Now they begin to look like it. And I'll probably put a little more flesh color in there. Now we're getting there. And we'll come back and put highlights in there too. All right, we'll get his eyelid in there. All right, we're getting there. Now I'm going to go ahead with the eyes just a little bit more. I think I need to put a little red in his cheeks, which I will. Okay. Now his eyes probably were brown. Let's see if that color will do it. I'm keeping that color real thin so I can so it'll flow good, in other words. I want that a little darker. All right, we've got about a half a minute here. I hate to leave you, but I guess we're going to have to for today. Come back next week and we'll work some more on our painting. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye and God bless.